Hi guys, so today we are going to see how to do cluster analysis using star software. So prior to that, we'll be seeing the data file format. So how to type your data in Excel. So this is very much similar to what I have told in my previous video regarding principal component analysis. So you'll be using an unreplicated data. This is the column for genotype and this is the column for your traits or your variables. So now just click on this file tab and just click save as and just choose a folder and just give it a name. I have saved this file already, so just give it a name and save as type. Just select CSV comma delimited format and just click save. So that's all about this data file format. Now coming to the star software. So we have to this is the star software. So just open a new project under the project tab and give this analysis a name. I'm giving it as cluster 2. Just give it OK, and the new project has been opened in the project explorer tab. So you can see this cluster 2 and under that there is a folder called data. Just right click on it and click import data, and I have saved the file in this folder. So just select that file and just click on this drop down menu and just click on this cluster.csv. So it is essential to click on that so as to visualize the data in your working table of this star software. Then only you can just go for this analyze. So now click on this analyze tab and under this just go to this multivariate analysis option. Previously we have done this principal component analysis, but now we will be doing this cluster analysis. So under this we have to set all our traits or your variables to this variable box from this numeric variable box. So I'm just selecting this. You can either just select it and click add, it will get added, or you can just simply give a double click on your traits. Only traits. If you have some thing like genotype, we have to avoid that to adding to this variable box. So here the genotype column has been automatically assigned to this factor box. So if it is not found in the factor box, it will be available in this numeric variable box. You just have to select that genotype and click this set to factor. So as it is already assigned here, just I have to select this genotype and click this add near to this ID variable box. So it is all over. Again, prior to clicking on this OK option, you have to go to the under this options tab. So under this, first of all, you can see number of clusters. So you can assign whatever numbers of your preference. If you have many number of say or 100 or 120 genotypes, you can go for 10 or 15 clusters. If you have, so in this sample data I have only some 24 genotypes, so I will just select 5 clusters for that. So it is of your choice moreover, and we have to select a distance measure, how the distance matrix of this dendrogram must be calculated. So here there are 5 methods or measuring matrix methods. That is, one is Euclidean, maximum, Manhattan, Minkowski and Canberra. Most of all, in most of the articles I have seen Euclidean distance measure is being preferred over other methods. So here we will be selecting that Euclidean method, and we can also select from the major clustering methods. The first one is your agglomerative method, the second one is your divisive method, and the third one is your k-means method. So these all differ how the genotypes are getting clustered in a dendrogram. So there are the basic principle in which the difference is only in the basic principle of this dendrogram construction. So and again in under agglomerative we will be getting 5 more options regarding the algorithms used. So you can select either a single linkage, complete linkage, average linkage, Watts method or centroid method. Usually I have seen people researchers going for Watts method, so that will be okay. And this divisive method is mostly useful for social experiments than anything else. For plant science, agglomerative has been widely used. You can also go for k-means, but it has its own disadvantages if it is a complex data. the calculation of this k mean value might be a bit of uh, might create bit of a problem. So we can go for this default like Euclidean, agglomerative and Watts method. So we can, and under that you can have, there is a default selection of data standardization, so let it be there. So you will be seeing the descriptive statistics for each cluster, and you can select these highlight clusters on dendrogram. That will be much more useful to differentiate between that 5 clusters formed. You can also have a distance matrix and also the co-phonetic distance also. You can select that and just click OK. So once your analysis is complete, you can see a drop down menu in this output folder. Just click on this cluster analysis and you can see around 6 files. So this is your dendrogram. So the dendrogram is not that much visible in the star software. So you have to go to your workspace and open this .png file, then it will be more clear to you. Again you can see this cluster agglo output. So this is the descriptive statistics for your traits. You can see the minimum, mean value, maximum, and the mean and the standard deviation, and also a correlation matrix is given, and it is the descriptive statistics for your, again for your clusters for each traits and which cluster it is belonging and how it has fared in its mean performance along with its standard deviation. So all the descriptive statistics are given in this .txt file, and here again as you come down you can see here cluster membership summary. So that is how many members are being assigned to each clusters. So in cluster 1 and cluster 2, in cluster 2 there are 3 genotypes, so you can see those things here. And again as you come here at last you can see a thing called co-phonetic correlation coefficient. So what is this co-phonetic correlation coefficient? So this gives an idea about how well the clustering result matches your original data or your basic field data, how well your dendrogram is resembling your basic data. That is, this co-phonetic correlation coefficient gives you a measure of this factor. So here it is given as 0.50 or 0.51. It is always better if the value is higher, something like 0.8 or 9. It is similar to what you find in that residual effect in path analysis. But only difference is that we need a higher value here. There is a higher value, say if there is 0.9, then you can say that the constructed dendrogram is acceptable for studying the difference between your genotypes. But here as I have used a sample data only, the value is low, so the dendrogram formed here is not justifying my study as much. So you can see that in this output file. Again you can also see the co-phonetic distance matrix also. So this is the distance given for the height of the dendrogram, where where some, say you have multiple branches is just accumulating into a single branch. So you can get that height variations here. So this, using this matrix only, that dendrograms branches are assigned or constructed. It can also see the distance matrix between the genotypes, how they are how well they have been clustered and in how much distance, you can see in this matrix. Again you can get a scatter plot, but the main thing we are concerned about is this agglomerative graph and this output file, especially this co-phonetic correlation coefficient. So again you can also go for this analysis. You can again select this cluster and go for this analysis, and just you can change it into divisive method and just click OK. So under the new thing you can get a divisive graph. So what is the use of doing this one or two cluster method? Because these cluster methods differ in their algorithms. So while writing a research paper, you can just compare with these cluster diagrams and write a research paper. So this will give more value to your research paper. So that's all about cluster analysis for now. So see you in next video. Thank you for listening. Hope it was useful for everyone. Thank you.